Welcome, gender-conscious friends. I'm your host, Fate Say. My pronouns are they, he, she, and I'm so glad the simulation brought you here today. This is our lives, gender included, where I and another gender-conscious friend talk about things found in everyday life, and how gender, if at all, affects those topics. This episode's topic is virtual relationships, but before I intro our guest, I gotta get the important stuff out of the way. Thank you so much to all of the listeners and everyone who helps make this podcast possible, including this podcast's first financial supporter, Danielle M. Thank you again so much, Danielle M. Also, I know I am not that great at promoting my Redbubble, but since I am doing Inktober, or as I am calling it, Spooktober, because I'm not just drawing a black and white, and I made up my own prompts, I am doing Spooktober every day for the month of October, and all of the art that I do, I put up on my Redbubble. You can get as stickers or prints, and also on hats and masks if the picture isn't gory. It won't let me put gory things on masks for some reason. I don't know. Also, if you can, please rate and review this podcast if the platform you are using so supports it. It is really helpful. It helps this podcast get seen by other brands who might want to do deals, which is super awesome and super cool. Also, if you're into the social media thing, links on my website, lyricallyfaight.wixsite.com/fatesay will be in the description. And on the first page of my website, all the links are at the bottom. So a link to my TikTok, which I use a lot, my Insta, which I am using a lot for Spooktober, my Twitter, which I do not use basically ever, my YouTube, which I am trying to get into using more, but it is definitely difficult, link to this podcast if you would like to share it with someone, a link to a wish list if you'd like to get me a present, and a link to my Patreon if you would like to financially support me in exchange for extra benefits, and a link to my Redbubble where you can get that art that I mentioned earlier, and also other art I have. I have like a limited product art, so I have like things that are mostly on stickers and small things, and then I have my Gush and Draw art, and the cover for my YouTube is on pretty much everything you can get on Redbubble, so like even on like blankets and stuff, which, I don't know, Christmas is coming up. Want to get somebody a Lyrically Faight blanket? But with that, on to the episode. Hello.
Hi.
So this is our gender-conscious friend, Marissa Linsalata. So to start off, would you like to just tell us about your gender journey, kind of like how you got to where you are right now?
Okay. From a very young age, I don't know, I was always kind of boyish. So my mom, had always wanted, when she wanted to do my hair, and like I had Barbies, but like by the time I was like 4, I was like, I'm not having this. Like 5.5, I was put in martial arts. Like I was a Taekwondo kid. I always played softball. I always like played sports, and I always had some, I had a mustache going on, and kids would make fun of me. That was a whole thing. But once I started going through adolescence, I tried experimenting with a more feminine presentation, but I feel like my default, like where I'm most comfortable, is more of a masculine presentation. But I like men's clothes a lot, and so I just try to, maybe I'm a little more. Sometimes I'm fluid in my expression, but I tend to lean more towards the masculine.
Okay. So this week's episode, the topic is virtual relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So just to start off, how would you describe a virtual relationship?
A virtual relationship is one where you, I guess, primarily or totally communicate through virtual means. So I would say involving a digital device or the internet.
Mm-hmm. So do you think you have a lot of virtual relationships or not a lot of them?
Yeah, I got a lot of them.
Do you, like, what are the levels of like the virtual relationships you have? Like, do you have really deep ones and some that aren't that deep? Or are they all like really deep connections or all not really deep connections?
There are some people that I've met solely online that where I've just, talked to them or don't talk to them all the time, or, we're just acquaintances. But I find some of my most valued connections are kind of more like a hybrid, where we stay in touch digitally, or, whether we met digitally or we stay in touch digitally. I really appreciate when it's like a supplement. So like it's one way to connect. I love talking to people in person too. I love meeting people in person, but like even with you, I met you online and I haven't been able to meet you because of the distance and things.
Yeah.
So I think it can kind of depend. I would say most of my relationships, I'm in touch with people, and then I do also see them. So I know them in real life, like in my physical life. Not real, because everything's real. It's real. Yeah. I know you in real life, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I think I don't know if I technically have a lot of virtual relationships. I think I do. But I'm definitely one of those people who are like, this is my best friend. And they're like, yeah, I work with them. Like they don't.
Oh, no.
So like, I think I have a lot of virtual like friendships and like relationships and stuff. But like, I don't know how those people would particularly describe me. But I think usually those, I don't know how I'd be able to describe whether they're deep or not enough, because like I am a person who just says things. Like I'm just like, this is
what is deep enough? What is deep enough? What is the threshold?
Exactly. So I like when people are like, well, that's not your real friend, that's an online friend. I'm like, well, that is my friend.
A real friend probably wouldn't tell you that your other friends aren't real friends.
Yeah. Although that's usually like
unless they
older
were
people
like,
in my family who say that, but yeah.
Unless they were seriously concerned, like,
yeah.
That you were not talking to a friend, but
yeah,
like if you truly felt like, I'm talking to someone and they add value to my life, and I enjoy, talking to them, and someone turns around and says, well, they're not your real friend. Like that's kind of invalidating, no?
Yeah. But I guess I can't really measure the level of connection because I am the same way with everybody. I have no filter. I will just say what happened today or what I'm thinking, and like kind of just like be weird and be me. And it's not like any different really for like anybody else. So like I don't really have like levels of connection for different people.
I would say that's a great thing that you feel that you're so connected to so many people, because it's about, what it means to you, right?
Yeah.
I think the only way, not maybe the only, I don't want to use absolutes, but I think the only, like a main way, or the only way I'm thinking of it in terms of how that could be negative is if you were putting more effort into a relationship that someone didn't value you and you just weren't picking up on it.
Although that has happened. I think more with my actual relationships, but that's because there were other people around to tell me that that's what was happening. I think in my virtual relationships, it's a lot harder because it's me and that other person just like one-on-one usually. So I don't have that outside perspective of like another friend being like, dude.
I think there is an interesting phenomena, and I'm making this up as I'm talking.
Okay.
Like, this isn't backed by science or like, but I don't have evidence-based article to.
More just like
Private.
anecdotes from other people.
No, from me. This is coming from me.
Okay. Oh, okay.
But yeah, there's a level of intimacy or closeness, I believe, like that you get from being online. I know we talk a lot about, and when I say we, I just mean like in general, we talk about like how social media or like virtual connection like takes away from connection. But I feel like you learn about someone in just a different aspect that you wouldn't know had you not connected with them in that form.
Also, I think it's easier to connect with a lot more like-minded people. Like, I don't know that many, like, not only queer and Black, but also trans and neurodivergent people just in my area at the moment. But I could find like 10 of them online and we could be friends.
Yes, even with TikTok and all that. I think that maybe that is somewhat of a silver lining with the pandemic, that I think that was a really hard time for everyone.
Yeah.
Some even more so than others. But I think we all had to kind of reassess, our lives and how we operate in terms of work and relationships. And I feel like I connected more so to people online during that time. And that was really healing and healthy, or for me, finding my circle, so to speak, of people that were like-minded or people that I related to or like identified with in whatever capacity, that I found community through that time. And that was really important to me. And that's why I picked this topic that I wanted to talk to you about, because I think that really helped me.
Yeah. Your virtual relationships led to a larger community.
Yeah. And it keeps me in the know. So like, I know what's going on, and I'm not talking about like, who
Sarah's dating somebody.
I don't care about that. I'm saying about like, events that are going on and meetups and, live streams and talks and podcasts as we're here, like I get to like learn so much and like be a part of like an event. And even, I joined like talk groups, like online support groups.
Yeah.
And I just found like I wouldn't have known where to find any of that if I wasn't online or had access to like the internet or a computer. So it's a major resource. Yeah.
Do you have any virtual relationships where they don't know about your gender?
I think I mean, I list my pronouns but I don't think I'm fortunate enough that I don't really think it's something that people like I have to like hide or like worry about how people perceive me. Like I, for sure, I've had people that I interact with that like don't know my full background or how I relate to gender, but I feel like it's not something that I like worry about how they're perceiving me. I think most people can see that, I'm not offended either way. Like, I think most people know that I'm like, I guess, assigned female at birth or lean on the woman spectrum. But I'm also like masked. So like non-binary comes up, people ask me, but I don't think like, I'm not perceived as just male, like cis male online. I don't think ever. So I feel like those interactions happen more in person, actually. I don't know. Does that make sense? I don't know if it does. I feel like that's more like waiters, servers, not knowing how to gender me.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it depends on how long I've been talking to the person. Like, if I knew them before I decided to, like, come out, then, like, if it hasn't come up in conversation, I haven't said anything, so I don't know if they know, you know? But after, that's, like, basically all I talk about. So, like,
yeah.
Like, every single one of my videos is like, by the way, I'm trans, you know? So, like,
yeah.
So, like, that's how, like, they find me. So, like, they're already in that space of, like, yeah. Got you.
I feel like my gender, I feel like my identity, like, is, not everybody knows me in, like, all capacities. So even when I was thinking, and this was another thing that I was kind of struggling with, is like, how do you address me when we post this? Like, we're going Marissa Lancelota, like, that's big, like, that's my name, like, we're putting that out there. You know, not every person that knows me in all capacities of my life, and most people wouldn't, you know, because you have kind of a work self, you have a personal self.
Most people,
so I feel like,
yes.
yeah, so I feel like there's degrees. I don't, you know, my gender per se doesn't change per situation, but I feel like my expression of, like, myself comes out in different ways depending, like, contextually, what I'm doing. Or
I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I think the only time I really ever do that is with older family. Literally everyone else, I'm pretty much exactly the same.
You know, okay, well, I know that feeling. You know, but I find it funny, not that, but, like, I'm developing more confidence in the last few years, and I play for a softball team, and my softball team, everybody calls me Big Wrist. So now I'm walking around with, like, big wrist energy, but not everybody knows that I'm big wrist. So, like, just people, like, see me and they don't know about the big wrist. So they're starting to know, because it's just, once you transform into this, you know, you just embody it. And I love it. I love this, this energy, this persona, this, like,
the coming into yourself.
Yeah, feeling. Yeah. So here I am. I guess I'm telling the world I'm big wrist, but yeah, you know, I love it. And you know, I'm trying to find my way, and I want to, like, embrace that level of confidence of, like, I am, you know, I have big energy. I have a big persona, a big heart, even though I'm very small in person. But I think that adds character. It's character development.
You are the main character.
Yeah. There you go.
Big Riz in the big city.
Yeah. No, I'm all about it. I love it.
So I know that your gender isn't that important to your virtual relationships, but how would you say it affects, like, how you would have other people address you, or how you address other people who maybe have a non-binary-ish, transish gender?
I wouldn't say it's not important. I just don't think it's something of, like, prominent concern that I'm worried about. It's not that it's not important. It informs how I, you know, move about the world. Well, I have a booming lesbian circle, I'd like to say. Nice. Or, like, non-binary lesbian
some queer friends,
queer experience going on. So if I have men in my circle, I consider, like, you know, cis men, they're my bros, and they treat me as such. So I got my bros, which is my good. I got my les bros, which is also good. So, you know, I think it's just, if I have cis men specific in my space, it's because I trust them and they're my friends.
Yeah.
And I find them, you know, I think that they're respectful and, we're cool. It's all good. I'd say, anyone else that is in that we just relate in a different way, whether it be how we express ourselves or, you know, how we dress or what our interests are or how others perceive us. Like we have like a level of relatability. Not saying I don't relate to my guy friends, but it's just different.
Yeah, it's a different like experience. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I try to use pretty much very gender neutral language with everyone. Like I'm always like friend, bestie, gender conscious. Like I'm like my gender conscious friends. I'm like, I'm not trying to like, unless they have like stated, they're like, yes, I would like it if you did this. And I'm like, okay, girl, bro. But like usually I try to just always keep it a little gender neutral for everybody. Especially because a lot of my virtual friendships are with non-binary people. Like I like to actively like seek out more non-binary people. I like to learn about the different facets of non-binariness, hence this whole podcast. But so like a lot of the times it's mostly I'm friends with other non-binary people. But like there are a few like just trans women or just trans men. And like if they're like, hey, like I would like it if you like just referred to me as like bro or dude, I'd be like, yeah, of course. So like that I have to like put my mind to be like, okay, right there. But I think for myself, it really just depends. I prefer always gender neutral language from like everyone. But then there are some days where I'm like, I'm a little lady.
Yeah.
And then there's other days where I'm like, I'm a big, hot, strong guy. I don't know what to tell you guys. That's it. You know? So those are kind of like depending on the day. But like always gender neutral is usually fine. So like usually I try to have my friends be like them, you know, unless there's like a specific thing, or like if they use them all like interchangeably instead of just he or just she, like those are fine. Yeah, I mostly prefer gender neutral, I think.
Whenever I'm talking about people in the abstract, I always go the gender neutral route. Like if I never go he or she. I'm always like there.
Yeah.
You know, I think some gendered things are okay. Like for me personally, like the other day I wore like a suit and I was like, I look like a gentleman. But then I was like, am I a gentleman? Maybe I'm a gentle them. But like I'm not like, oh, if you call me one thing or the other, I'm going to be offended. I kind of like all of them.
Yeah.
I think it's like, it just means something to, you know, people know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I know that like some people don't mean things when they like use gender terms, mostly because like it's ingrained in our language. And it's not like I'm offended. It's more like my brain's like, whoa, okay. We're very she today, I see.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think like it could kind of depend on the crowd, because like I know like a whole group of drag queens, they all call each other she. That's their default.
Yeah.
So I guess it kind of just depends, but I think with online it is easier in the sense that you can just list your pronouns.
Yes, that is a very big plus of online, having to be like, let me go check real quick, which is so helpful. And I very much do not understand the people who are like, nobody wants to check your bio. I'm like, what are you talking about? I always check the bio. Always.
That's definitely a plus. I feel like some identifying terms, I know that words can be very controversial about their definitions. I kind of feel like some of my definitions overlap that maybe contradict in a way.
What do you mean?
Like lesbian versus non-binary versus like any like sexuality versus gender term, and like kind of like those gray areas of like, well, this means that. And
the explanation of bisexuality versus pansexuality is so fun.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, not to erase, like, not to make my own thing, but just if you identify with the word, like even like hashtag like women loving women, like I resonate. Yeah, I resonate with that. Some people are like, oh, it's erasing non-binary people. I mean, I am not fully they them, so I can't speak for that, but I kind of like I relate to it, so I use it. But then if I relate to the word non-binary, I use that too.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's invalidating myself. I think I just relate to it. So
yeah, it's definitely a different conversation when you are actively in like the community that the term is being debated about. You know? Like if you were like a cis gay man and you were like, I don't know about WLW, I'd be like, yeah, you don't.
yeah, exactly. If it doesn't affect you, your like degree of opinion like is not, it's like it doesn't affect you. So
yeah. And everybody's experience is so different with different words. Like some of my non-binary friends don't mind being called bro or dude. And that's just because like that's the language they grew up around. Like everybody uses it gender neutrally, but some people grew up around where it was only a guy thing. So that makes them uncomfortable. So it just depends on the person.
Well, I'm literally in a group, like I'm in a group chat with my lesbros. We're the lesbro chat. So we're all,
That's pretty great.
Yeah. But we're bros, but also with like a woman connotation to it. And I'm happy about that. I love my lesbros. Shout out to my lesbians. We made up a new word recently. Oh, so actually I want to bring this up because I think it's really funny.
Okay.
And I don't think they'll mind, but someone in my chat was like, to the group, like, what deodorant do you use? So we go around the group. Some of them, we got some Old Spice, stuff like that. Same. So I said, I use Dove. I use like a feminine deodorant, but in the shower, I have body wash. I use Axe body wash. So then someone wrote back like, oh, you're a hybrid. And I was like, yeah. So then someone was like, what is a hybrid exactly? Like, just want to know, like, cause like, I'm like, yeah, the kids call that non-binary these days. So we all are laughing, but, I was like, nah, a hybrid is the perfect indica sativa blend of gender.
Yes.
So they think I'm funny.
All non-binaries are now called hybrids.
Yeah.
It has been decided, this podcast right here, right now, we're telling the world. So before it's time to go, I have some queer themed games for you.
Here we go.
So the first game is, how would you make this movie queer? So I'm going to give you a movie and you're going to tell me how you would change the plot to make the movie queer. So the first one is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Okay. Well, just the fact, okay, he finds the golden ticket and then he goes to the chocolate factory, we could just add like a whole bunch of rainbow candy and just make it queer that way. Like we're already in a fantastic magical universe of chocolate. So
chocolate.
Yeah, I really wanna X-nay the Oompa Loompa idea. I just got like weird vibes from that. I want like all the people, the workers, to be queer and whatever gender
it's a giant
they want.
Queer commune in the chocolate.
Yeah. I don't want, the whole orange and green is like a weird color color scheme. I want to just gay it up. Let's just do that. Let's get
so Willy Wonka employs all of the gays from
yeah. And instead
whatever
of
town this is, I don't remember the name of the town.
No, I don't know. And for each level, first of all, it's like actually Willy Wonka, he's like evil. First of all, he's like taking everyone down the lake to give the children nightmares, and then he's just actually like killing them. Like, doesn't he kill them?
Sort of.
They go away. And,
yeah, I think in the book, it's definitely implied to be a murder. But in the like movies, I think they kind of were just like something happened to them.
Yeah. So I don't know if I would do all that. I think we should
queer movie where no one dies in the end.
Yeah. I don't know what I would want to happen to them though. I think
they all learn how to be better allies.
Yeah. They're like basically they lose the game, so they have to like sashay away or something. Like we're gonna add some RuPaul in there.
Okay. And then the second movie is Pinocchio.
That just goes in a whole different direction. I just feel like with his nose, that's just a porno. I just feel like I don't even have to describe it.
Okay then.
I don't know.
So our second game is would this give you gender envy? It's like, how does this make me feel about my gender?
We'll try it. We're gonna do it.
All right. So the first one is a bucket of orange paint.
I don't know if I'm better at this game. No. I don't feel for orange. Like it's gotta be mixed with yellow and pink, like sunset.
I also hate orange, but only because I watched High School Musical as a child, and Sharpay was like, no orange. And I was like, that's fair. That's fair. So I don't like orange. A left boot.
We went over this. We've done this.
I know, but you gotta do it. Do it.
No left. The right one. We're gonna go with the right one. Gives me envy. I don't know what that means, but
just the right one, not the left one. I picked the wrong boot. My bad.
My bad. See.
And a yellow tape measure.
I'm gonna say actually yes. I see where you're going with that. Okay. Because tape measures, like there's a masculine thing going on there. You got to be able to measure. I can't measure shit, so maybe a little bit. I'm not very handy that way.
So thank you for joining. Do you have anything that you want to promote?
I'm gonna say my art. I definitely
your photography page.
Yeah, my photography. I'm definitely trying to promote mental health in maybe more of the abstract sense. I don't have something specific, but I think it's really important through virtual connections, through physical connections. However you're able to connect with other people, I think it's really important. So thank you for contributing to my mental health and being my friend and being able to connect with me and hear my thoughts on topics.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me again.
I appreciate you. I'm glad I got to make you laugh.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you again to Marissa for joining me on the topic of virtual relationships. Our Lives, Gender Included is created by Faitze, hosted by Faitze, edited by Faitze, produced by Faitze, and partially financially supported by Danielle M. To access my socials, you can go to my website, lyricallyfaight.wixsite.com/Faitze. The link will be in the description, and you'll find the links to all of my socials on the first page. Also, on the podcast page of my website, you can now sign up to be a guest on this show. I have reopened the guest form just because a lot of the people who originally signed up the end of May, beginning of June. So when I email them, they're probably a little not as enthused as they were. So if you would like to, would definitely appreciate it. And if you click the support page, you can support me financially via a one-time donation on my PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo. Or you can support just this podcast by subscribing to Anchor or subscribe to my Patreon at the various tiers I offer in exchange for different benefits. Or you can buy my art on various products on Redbubble. Anyway, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a great rest of your day in the simulation.